welcome to my channel, Mandy Tried. I am, like I had said to you in the opening, if you had a chance to see that, going to be showing different creative things that I want to try that I don't know how to do. I love doing crafts, and some of them I'm not really very good at. Most of them I'm not really very good at, to be honest. So I like to try though. And what I have found is that a lot of the beginner videos that are out there are tutorials for beginners that are being performed by somebody who is far from a beginner, and that's great. However, I want to be able to follow it and see somebody make the beginner mistakes that I might be inclined to make, and I will probably most likely make. So, that being said, tonight, glass of wine, tonight, I will be doing a poured paint, and again, I've done these before. I do not consider myself to be any stretch of an expert at them. I don't understand a lot of the logic that some of the people use when they're making their own poured paint things. But I am mesmerized by the process and by their approach. The whole thing as a whole just kind of, I find very intriguing. So, we're going to give it a go tonight. I will admit, this is my second video today. The first video is not getting posted, but it is actually the same painting. So my little strainer here I'm using already has paint in it, but I'm using the exact same paints, so it's going to be fine. So, to the paint, I have, there's a lot of different things you can get out there, which I have uncovered, but I prefer to go with paints that are already mixed, though you can mix your own colors and that sort of thing. You order acrylic paints and you would just use a pouring medium. The one that I have used in the past is by Deco Art. I do find it to be expensive, and I don't feel like a lot goes a long way, or a little goes a long way. I feel like you use a lot of it fast. But I guess there's some others that you can get out there. One's called Blowtorch. I'm sure there's plenty of others. There's something that people do with glue. I have tried it once using water without using the medium. Worked pretty much the same way, I think, maybe. So we're going to go ahead and give it a try tonight. So what I am using are the Artist Loft's already mixed pouring paints. I have metallic white. Not a lot left in there though. I have bright blue. This one here is aqua green. Then we have bright red, and this is phthalo blue. So they're all already mixed with the pouring medium in them. What I've gone ahead and done is I've also added, that's not it, this is it. I've added the silicone to them, which helps create what's called cells. And if you're not familiar with that, it quite literally is like a cell under a microscope. That's the best way I can describe it, because that's what it reminds me of. So the silicone helps to do that. So I've gone ahead and poured in the acrylic, and well, already pre-mixed, and then I've added in the silicone to all of them. So with these colors that I have, because I did think I had a brighter color more than the yellow, or red rather, I thought I had maybe a yellow, but I don't, because I'd have to make that if I wanted to use it. I'm doing a little more red than I am the other colors, and I'm doing a little more white. So this is a 12 by 12 canvas, and I put painter's tape, just the blue painter's tape, around the back of the frame so that any paint that drips off won't collect on the bottom of the frame itself. So when it's a finished product, you're not going to have bumps of paint all over the back of it, which I am known for doing. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So what I have seen, I'm going to wear gloves. What I have seen on some of the videos that I've watched, and some of you may also pick up on this, is that a lot of times the artist will put their base coat, their base color down first before they even start mixing their paints or putting them into the cup. So I'm actually going to put them into my cup first, because I don't have a whole lot of this white, and I want to make sure I have enough of it. This is the cup that I used earlier. I'm just going to reuse the same one just because, you know, again, it's the same thing. So we're just going to go for the same cup. Now previously I layered it in a very particular way, so as I understand it, if you pour it down the edge of the cup like this, you get less air into your paint. Air bubbles create holes in the finished product if you don't pop them or if you create too many of them. But in this case, what I'm going to do is a dirty pour because I am using the dirty cup. So I'm just going to pour a little bit more white in the bottom there. And then I'm just going to start layering it. And it is a dirty pour, but if I were going to do like a nice pretty neat pour, I would just do down the side of the cup. So that way the paint sits on top. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pour right down the middle. Still going to layer the colors though. So red, and then the white, and the blue. I personally find watching somebody mix paint very boring, and I tend to fast forward through these parts of the video, so I would not be offended if you were to do that for me. I totally get it. So every other color is going to be, a layer of white, red, white, the blue, white, red, white, the blue, and so on. Until I fill the cup. It's fascinating, isn't it? And when I did this earlier, I got some seriously amazing cells, and I have never been good at getting cells. So I'm very excited to show you, hope, fingers crossed, that I have the same success this time. We'll see. Okay, just about done. Now a dirty pour can mean a couple of different things. It could be just like flip the canvas on top of the cup and then flip it over and let all your color soak to the bottom of the cup. And then you lift the cup and all the paint just kind of comes out with no kind of rhyme or reason. Or you could just pour all your colors in and then swirl it onto the board if you wanted to, the canvas if you wanted to. I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do with a dirty pour. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm still going to use the strainer because, well, I've been wanting to try it with a strainer and I've had bad luck at doing it that way in the past. So I figured it out. I think today I had some really good luck with this. I don't have a lot of this white left. Okay. So I'm just going to coat my board, my canvas rather. So there's no silicone in the white because, well, to be honest, it just isn't here. We want the paint colors to have the silicone in them. By the way, I am balancing my board on these wonderful little triangles. Painter's Pyramids is what they're called. And they are fantastic. I got them at Hobby Lobby. So, I've done various things. I've used these. Flipped over solo cups. Of course, now I can't balance my board back on here. Keep on the board, sorry. My canvas. There we go. And I've used flipped over solo cups. I've used push pins nailed into the back. This or solo cups is really my preferred because I figured out the other day. And once I seal it, because I do seal it with the polyurethane I put on there, the push pins kind of stay stuck inside the polyurethane, and it's really, really hard to get them out, and they break. So this, really the solo cups I think is probably my favorite to use. The only problem with that is they do stick to the puppy pea pads that I do my paintings on. Eventually I'll be moving my painting into my basement, and until then I'm using my dining room tape. A very small, cluttered, messy dining room because this is where I do my work. So I do the This is one of those cheapo vinyl tablecloths. We have a store here called Christmas Tree Shop, and that's where I got those at for like $3. So that works perfect because I don't care if it gets wrecked. It's also on a folding table. Kind of don't want that to get too much paint on it because there's other things that do that. And so I put down the dog pads because I have a dog, and I steal some of his dog pads, you know, per use. Just make sure that's clear. And do my painting on that because it sops up all of the paint. I have an 8-year-old. When she's doing paintings, I put that under her paintwork too, and it's perfect. So, anyways, on to doing my paint pour. So I found this at the grocery store yesterday. I found it at Shaw's. This is made by Kolore, K-O-L-O-R-A-E. It's a flower sink strainer. Now I've been doing this, I've done this a few times, but I've done it with the metal one. My metal one had the little black rubber stopper right in there that, you know, you push it in and it locks it into the sink. So that came out and I thought, well, that'd be fine because, you know, it still works, except it leaves a big hole in the middle of the painting, and then this doesn't float quite as well as this plastic one is going to, at least as well as it did earlier. So I'm gonna put that down in the middle. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see better, and we're gonna get painting. And I'm gonna take a sip of wine first because what's painting without wine? Okay. Because it's a dirty pour, one of the other things that's recommended, here's another popsicle stick. Take your popsicle stick and just kind of do a little crisscross on the top. I don't know why. Maybe it's to start the process of the colors mixing. Because sometimes, I guess with the colors mixing on their own, I think that also helps to create cells. So I'm kind of taken away from all this, but I could be wrong. I don't really understand this whole thing, to be honest with you. And I also don't really understand how to take a video of me doing this. So you're probably not going to get much of a close-up, and I do apologize for that. I'll take the camera down later and show you the finished, hopefully. So let's see. So I'm just going to swirl this in through the center of the strainer. And as I pour it in, you can see it's starting to come out. Oh, these colors just are mixing so awesome. Oh, this is even better than earlier. So that's starting to, I don't know if you can see it kind of pour out into the white that I already put down. And what's really cool is that these cells are already starting to form, and I haven't even done anything yet. That's really so cool. I'm gonna give it a minute to let it seep out some more, and then we'll see what we can do. Oh, I love it. So I didn't have any success doing this in the past with the strainer, and it was really pissing me off because I really love this look and this approach. So I'm going to see. The problem that I have though is that when you start tilting the painting, you lose that appearance, or at least I do. Now, I don't know whether it's that I don't have enough paint for the size of my board, or I don't know. No one don't know, so we'll figure it out. And give it another minute, see what else comes out. You know what I'm going to do while I'm sitting here? I'm just going to go ahead and pour a little extra of all of the colors right down in the middle. And all this extra paint here, I might as well go ahead and use it. Why not, right? What I really, really want to do for a pour is they have these, I've seen people do beach pours. like they make like the ocean and waves, and it looks like the beach, and it's so pretty and cool. And I'm petrified to try that. So hopefully I'll be able to pull one of those off in the not so distant future. So let's just tap off a little bit of white. Put a little white. This is the other thing that I saw that they would do is they would pour a little more paint around the edges, which helped to encourage the spread because I don't know if I already said it, but I went over it. Dang it. The paint helps the poured paint spread. Like if I understand that to be the case, let's see what I have some more for white. Alright, this is titanium white. It's also Artist Loft. It's all so ready to mix, ready to pour paint. Put that on top. Let's see what happens. I kind of waste paint, I gotta be honest. I go a little crazy with it. Sorry, you can hear my phone ring, I apologize. I go a little crazy with the pouring because I never know. I know there's I don't know how do you say it? It's an equation that tells you the size of your bore versus the quantity of paint you need and that kind of thing. But I'm not that good. I don't really care that much because it's just fun, you know. So let's see how this plays out here. I'm just going to let that drip a little bit more. Let's see what happens. Oh, very cool. All right. So, that's very cool. Oh, I wish I could show this to you right on top of this. Have the camera like right on this so you could see, but I need a cameraman in order to do that, and since I don't really have a cameraman, I'm going to just wing it for now. I am going to torch it before I go on because I want to get some of those air bubbles out, plus this will also start the process for some more of these cells to form. So I know when I've watched other people do this, and they get the cell structure, they want to maintain that cell structure. I have never been very good at doing that, so someone wants to give me a tip or two on how, I would love that. Alright, so that looks good. So the other thing is that you want to make sure that if you do use a torch, I also have a heat gun that I could have used, but I don't like the heat gun as much as I like the torch, because I like the torch. I like to set things on fire. Might have some issues, who knows. I'm a giant goof, sorry. Okay, so, wow, lots of cells are starting to form now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start spreading this out. Kind of what they say, elongate the cells. I don't know if I'm actually going to elongate any cells. Let's see. It's just fun. This is very cool, though. So what I understand, you're supposed to pour it to one side, bring it back to the middle. Let it set for a second. Pour to the other corner. Just as it's just to start to spill over, kind of pour it back a little bit. I guess the natural gravity will just bring that over the edge if it's not going on its own. I don't know. Wow, this is so pretty already. Oh, I don't want to lose too much of this color over the edges. Bring this back to the middle. It looks like a peacock feather right there. Huh. Very cool. Those blues, that phthalo blue and the bright blue, they're so vibrant. I'm kind of losing some here. It's starting to kind of get a little bit muddy, as they say, I guess. So let's see what happens. Just go ahead and keep pouring a little bit. I really want to lose those cells. Well, the other thing is like, oh, pour slowly. It's no race. Oh, but it is. I don't like to go slow. I like to really get it good and, you know, moving because I'm just so excited to see. And that's usually probably why I screw up so much. But let's see. These blues, they're just so beautiful. Almost like sapphires. Oh, love it. Down to the middle. So like in the middle here is where all the blob of paint, if you will. I'll call it a blob of paint. I'm going to put that down for a second. Still have to get this corner here. I want to get that corner. These really are. The cells are really amazing. Let me just get this corner here with color, and then I'm going to torch it again. I just want to bring some of that over this way first. I would totally be listening to music right now, but I guess I have to be careful with that, with copywriting and all that other fun stuff. There we go. I'm going to bring that back to the middle now. You see how vibrant those blues are? Oh, it's amazing. You see people who do these and you're like, how do you get, you know, the exact look you're going for? It just blows my mind because I feel like they do. Oopsies. Maybe they don't, it's just in my mind that I feel like they do, but I don't know. It's pretty cool though. So as much as I have fun watching people do it, and as mesmerizing as that is for me, I find it to be equally mesmerizing to do it, to make a painting too. So, but I don't know if I do it right or wrong, but certainly make my share of mistakes, that's for certain. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is take my gloves off because I've painted hands. And I'm going to torch this again just to bring up some more cells. I'm going to have another sip of wine first because, you know, what goes better with a blowtorch than wine, right? Sorry, I slurped. Oops. Okay. So some things about using a blowtorch. One, of course, it's fire, it's blowtorch. So I am joking, I like wine, yes. I like blowtorches, yes, but I'm also extremely careful when I'm using them. This actually happens to be a pastry blowtorch that I use when I'm making creme brulee, for example. The other thing to keep in mind is that when you're using this, you just want to do big strokes over the top of it. I have learned that if you're not careful, you can actually burn your paint, which is almost like drying it so fast that it turns into a hard glob, like long before it's time. And that's not good, so you don't want to do that. And like right here, I have a cluster of small cells forming, so that actually looks really pretty. So I'm just gonna do a few more big strokes over the top of this. I think I have it all pretty well done. But you can see when you're doing it yourself, if there are air bubbles, you'll actually see them. So that's something else that I've learned to look for because, you know, until you're doing it and you try it a few times, you're not really going to know what to look for. So get in there. Oh, there's still a lot of air bubbles in the middle there. I can actually see them. So maybe I'll torch that one more time. But as you sit and let it go, the colors really start to pop, and it is unbelievable. So this video has gone on a really long time, so I'm going to just take this down real fast and show you what I've done, and then stop the video because you're probably all very bored already. Oh, we'll leave you on there. Just bring the tripod over. Okay, so my dining room is really messy because, like I said, this is where I do all my work. So this is the finished product, or finished for now. And as you can see, some of these cells are starting to pop up while we're talking, and it's pretty amazing. Like that one literally popped while I was talking to you. So these colors are really fantastic. Now here's the kicker. When this dries, it is not going to be as vibrant. What I have found is using polyurethane to seal it. Keeps those colors really sharp. So this is the one that I did earlier today. And some of these cells are still popping up. Like that was not there when I moved this over here. So as you can see, same colors, different outcome. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. So, well, thank you so much for watching my video. Please give it a like, and I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. This is all new for me, so if you have any suggestions of anything you'd like me to give it a try to, please feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to check it out. Thanks. Bye.